Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is going to be The Sopranos, Season 4, Episode 6, Everybody Hurts. Very positive sound. And we're also going to be doing Episode 7. I think it's called Watching Too Much TV. These are 2 episodes in Season 4 of The Sopranos. If you haven't joined us on one of these, this is a little different than the usual recap craziness. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be watching this live, watching these 2 episodes back-to-back live, and doing a live commentary track as if old school DVD commentary style. But I'm just talking about the episode, talking about The Sopranos in general, and hopefully getting some information and some questions from the live mother blah blah chat. We got some people that will be joining us live tonight in the live chat right now. We got John Haymaker. We'll probably have some other people popping on in throughout the evening, and we're going to be asking ourselves as well this question with the episode Everybody Hurts, written by Christopher Moltisanti, Michael Imperioli. Is this the best Artie episode? And to examine that question with me is, of course, my co-host on this Soprano adventure. We're moving through this thing with lightning speed, Matt. I can't
believe it.
We're like the road runner. Look at us keeping our commitments. Here we go. It's 3 o'clock, and we're out here talking again about the Sopranos. What's up, Matt? How are you doing tonight?
I am good. It's qu'est-ce que c'est? We're doing really well on this right now.
Yeah, no,
we're getting like this. We did 2 last time. 2 this time, and as you said, like we actually might be done before the end of the year,
right?
Season 4.
Our stretch goal of actually finishing a season in a year might actually happen here. So we're excited to get into this. And honestly, I thought this was one of these episodes was going to be a different episode. And just to get this out of the way, we will be spoiling everything that happened in The Sopranos before, everything that happened after. So if you're not,
and we'll try not to talk about the Many Saints of Newark, but we can't promise.
We don't talk about that here. No, but this is the calm before the storm of Ralphie's death. I kind of yada-yada'd these episodes in my head, Matt, in thinking back on this season. I remembered these episodes. One of these episodes, I've talked about this a lot. Some of these were the first episodes I watched. This Paulie coming back, I remember one of these 2 episodes, the second one, was probably one of my least favorite episodes on my very first time watching the show, which was Season 4, because I just was annoyed by Paulie the minute he came on screen again. I'm like, who's this guy? This guy's a rat. Well, and we deal with a lot more of watching him sort of vomit diarrhea out of his mouth to Johnny's sack. And he really is a rat in some ways. I know Tony Sirico never wanted to be a rat, but Paulie in this season, he may not be ratting to the feds, but I don't know. And speaking of rats, we get into your favorite character, Adriana LaServer, and her whole situation happening in these episodes, really digging in on her.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of, and I don't think there's a real necessary arc in any of the episodes where there's but there's just a lot of those connective things that happens later on all take place here. And it's always weird watching Adriana stuff before you know the outcome, and it's hard to put yourself in the place of watching it without knowing the outcome, because we all know what happens to her.
And I love how so much of the information that happens, like with the title, You Watch Too Much TV, that it's her thinking that you can get out of testifying for your husband comes through watching too much television. Then her friend or her sister, whoever that was, telling her, I don't think that's so. I saw this murder she wrote.
Yeah.
It all comes from their information about television. And Matt, this might be the weirdest thing I'm going to say. This might be one of the beginning of...
I doubt this is going to be the weirdest thing you've ever said, but go ahead.
For you, we might be going into my favorite AJ Soprano episode. Watching it back, if this is AJ, I like this AJ being completely unaware and an idiot, sort of exploring more of his douchey, privileged, out of touch side, and then seeing
he thinks he's privileged, and then he meets real privilege.
Right.
But yeah.
And I kind of like that storyline, and then watching him with his pants down talking like an asshole. I don't know. I feel like this was peak AJ. The,
What a terrible thing to be a peak of is AJ, but
yeah. I feel like this might be peak AJ. And I asked the
he still finds a way to whine though. It's not as whiny as later AJ, but he's still whining the whole time.
I mean,
and complaining about his mother and the $3,000 whatever the hell it is.
And I don't want to get too personal with you, man. I really don't want to get too personal with you. And it's a little different, I guess, because your sister M is younger, but would there ever be a situation where you could imagine calling your sister to be like, can I have sex in your dorm room bed? Like, isn't that the most, that is the,
it's the most out of control thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right. I don't have siblings, except I have a half sisters, but I'm not that kind of close with them. But I know you and Em are very close. And could you imagine the situation?
If it was going to be done, I could never see a sister asking a brother for that. I could certainly see if it was going to happen, a brother asking a sister would be the way it would happen.
Oh my
goodness. A sister, a sister would never want to do that in her brother's bed. That's gross.
Yeah.
It's just gross. Yeah. It's disgusting.
I was once in a situation where I was with somebody and my mother had gone away for the weekend, and we were downstairs in my basement, and they were like, "Oh, let's go up to your mother's bed." I'm like, "I don't want to go do that in my mother's bed." I was disgusted by it, and they were offended that I was disgusted. And I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." So, that's the only reference I can sort of put towards it, because I don't have a sister, but I could imagine the same thing. That's
no. And the other thing is, if it was going to happen, not saying it would, and it never has in my life. If it was, it would have been like if people were extremely intoxicated, it was spur of the moment, and you're just like, this is my one shot to do this. I'm going to do it here. Like, I'm not going to ask. I would do it if someone were doing this, but it would never be like a premeditated. Let me take hours in advance, plan a trip to New York, call a thing, to do that. Why not go to a hotel? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, especially when she pulls out the Amex for the card thing,
Yeah,
that's up there, AJ. Okay, let's get into the live chat before we start this. Phil killed me and gave my wife the change in his pockets. Listen, we took care of your wife. She's a hysteric. I don't know what you're talking about, John Haymaker. We took care of Angie. If you didn't abandon her and become a friend of the state. We got Sonic, your boy. We got John Haymaker. We got the wonderful, amazing Luna. Share this out. Hit that like button. Make sure you tell all your friends that are watching right now. Join in the fun and help get it out there. Let me put this out there. Let me share this right here. Okay. We got Shalom Luna. Phil killed me and gave his wife. I forgot how much happens in this episode. It is a big, tight episode. That's kind of what I'm getting into. These two episodes, a lot, especially this first one, a lot happens. John, your wife just happened to be Donna. AJ, what an idiot. He's privileged and she's even more privileged. $3,000. It's $3,000 versus a priceless. He didn't even have one Picasso. He collects the Picasso's later years. There was three.
Oh yeah, only his later years though. Right.
His blue, not his blue period. His later years. Loses. Frickin' losers. Okay, and he's got a good taste in records. He's got the rubber sole and mint condition there. I got rubber sole and mint condition, dude. With AJ's, I don't know if they were trying something out, trying a group of friends, but if I remember correctly, none of these dudes really come back. We do see Devin a little bit, but the dude with the Beatles haircut, that they make it seem
it's like his Millhouse from The Simpsons. It's who it is.
But he never really has friends that stick around, Matt. That's one thing about AJ. He doesn't have. Meadow, she disappears for extended times, but she has Hunter Scazzarella, whatever the hell her name, Hunter, Blossom there. But AJ doesn't really have a best buddy.
No.
Occasionally they bring dudes in there to try to be his friends temporarily, the little crew.
Yeah, but that's such a waste of time. Can you imagine if they wasted their time trying to develop his friends as characters? That's awful,
Matt. And that's, before we get started, that's one interesting thing to kind of look at here. I watch The Sopranos, and I say, we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of weeks, it holds up and doesn't feel dated at all. It feels like you can watch it now and it fits into television. But if this show happened now and The Sopranos was starting now, even with the similar creative team, you would probably see more AJ and Meadows storylines. They would probably, you'd see an AJ episode. You know, I don't know.
It sounds awful.
You would see the many saints. No, we've mentioned it. But I do think if the show came out now, you would see even more development and character development of all four members of the family. Except instead of...
I think it would be a worse show, but okay. Like, I don't want AJ to be developed. He's awful. Like, every time AJ's on the screen, I'm like, well, this is a waste of my time.
It's true. I mean, except for that scene with him in the pool. I mean, that seemed like it could have been a good outcome to that scene, but other than that, the many girls of Icelandic air. Yes. Absolutely. Where the hell did you go? Dog, if you unplug the computer, Matt will be stuck in the biggest Garth.
No, don't make me Garth, like a full-time Garth. I can't handle. I'm not. I didn't get enough sleep last night to be Garth right now.
Honestly, Matt, I think if it happened, you wouldn't even get to Garth. I think the way we're connected,
we'd just be out.
Yeah,
it would be fitting. It would be like the last scene of The Sopranos. No, exactly. Never come back again.
If that happens at some point in this live stream, I'll try to get back in here. But if we don't stop, it's because of this damn dog. Christopher really was slipping into darkness, seriously addicted. This was an incredible, because this is also. I mean, we're going to get into this in 1 second. Let's get ready to start this episode. So if you're going to watch with us, get ready to queue up your episode. And we're going to do a 3, 2, 1, and then go. Christopher, this is the episode where Tony ultimately tells Christopher that he's the one that's going to be in charge after him. And this is also the episode where Christopher's a step too far to come back from addiction. Up until this point, he was messing around and dancing around that circle. This is the episode where he's 2 steps away from sitting on that dog. And I can't help it.
I know. I did like how they introduced. We get a lot of cassette in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, and Matt, you were talking a little bit about things that we know happen and watching it again in retrospect.
Yeah.
I can't help when I'm watching this to just see, and I think this is somehow my mind is horrible, except I don't look at television characters like they're real people. I look at them like I'm playing with my toys, essentially. Like you're making up this land of make-believe here. They're make-believe characters. And even the dog's a make-believe dog. And whenever I see Cosette, I'm just like, dead dog walking on the Green Mile.
It's awful.
I just start hearing that like it's I want a clock ticking down. The T-minus 3 days till Cosette dies. We're Matt and I.
Cassette.
Matt and here are on Cosette's watch here. It's 32 hours into Cosette watch until Christopher Moltisanti rolls over and crushes the poor puppy dog.
I mean, the good thing about Christopher getting this far gone on drugs is that it leads us to probably the best scene in the entire Sopranos. Are
you talking intervention?
It's like the best 5 minutes of this series of like any show ever. It's just perfect.
There's a few moments I would rank up there, Matt, but I can't argue with that logic. I can't logic. It's a maid dog. It was a maid dog. You can't sit on a maid dog. We get the amazing, incredible Why So Curious who popped in here. The incredible, awesome Luna. The unbelievably funny John Haymaker. We got Monty, one of our great friends in there. And if all of you guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share this out. Keep pushing it. We're about to start our episode. Matt, are you queued up and ready pretty much?
I am. I think I am. Yep.
Okay. Of course, I'm going to end up.
And everyone, just so you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, Phil's, when he said go, he was a little delayed on it. So you might want to.
Yeah. I'm slow on the draw. I am. Because I'm hitting the reset button and I have a lot of bells and whistles. Dog, you are so trying to end this stream. You're not going to do it, dog. Okay. Here we go. Season 4, episode 6. Also wanted to mention
it's not on 1. It's on go afterwards. 3, 2, 1, go. Then we all hit play.
I also wanted to mention the episode title, Everyone Hurts, was inspired by the REM song. Michael Imperioli was talking about on the Talking Sopranos episode that he actually, in a weird way, grew up with Michael Stipe. He didn't get into too much how he knows him, but he said, they've known each other since they were kids, and they've thought about doing some projects together, but never quite came together. But the title is inspired by the song Everyone Hurts. I wonder why the song wasn't used in the episode, but probably publishing reasons and shit like that. But if anyone cares and about stuff like that, listen to the Talking Sopranos. He talks a little bit about it at the beginning of the podcast. Okay, here we go.
Lots of cousin Brian here too.
And I want to get into that right when we start this, because so much of this episode, as we're going into it, is about Tony, once he finds out what happens, needing to be liked. But the cousin Brian thing in passing can seem like it's not really important. Like it's just whatever. But what we basically get to see is Tony corrupting someone from Go. Brian came in and he was all sort of up tight. And then by the end of next episode, is it this episode, where he's taking a $15,000 watch because he set up Ralphie and Tony on a HUD scam. He's all in, and Carmela knows it, and she brought him in to be a good man influence, and Tony gets into everything. But watching this episode, I think it's 3 different times, 3 different people tell Tony he's a good person. You're a good guy, Tony. And I think that's what this episode's about as well, is Tony dealing with the fact of not being a good person. Is he a toxic individual? Did he cause Gloria's death? And I think that carries into the next episode too, and what he does with Congressman Dishbag.
He really is wrestling with that. Like, that matters to him if he's a good person or not. And I don't think there's a lot of people in this series that weighs on their mind. I don't think Paulie ever wakes up and wonders if he's a good person or not in a philosophical sense.
No.
He might care if he's being a good soldier and being a good part of this thing of ours, but I think as fucked up as Janice is and Tony is, Janice does, and that's why he has a sit down with Janice later in this episode. Let's get into they should have a different sort of sit down. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, a couple more chats before we get into it. I was watching The Man Who Fell to the Earth in the last episode, The Man Who Sold the World, and was surprised that the song wasn't played at all. There was a song with the same exact title. Luna says Tony's charm is toxic. Absolutely. And I think charm is a hard thing to combat, and it can cause a lot of disaster with a lot of people. You could say that about someone like Ted Bundy, for instance. I'm not necessarily saying Tony's a 1-for-1, but that helped him get away with it for many, many years, doing what he was doing with just using charm, or the guy with the fucking less of a crime, but the guy that the movie Catch Me If You Can is about. Frank Nigretti, or I forget what his name is. No, I think that's someone we knew from high school. Whatever.
What was that other guy's name? O.J. Simpson. There's another one. Very charming.
Very charming individual, Matt. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, you are way slow, Phil.
Am I slowing the gun? That's what she said.
It's okay.
You catching up with me? You'll pause this stuff?
Yeah, I'll be good.
At David Bowie, Abigail. Thank you, John Haymaker. Very underrated Steven Spielberg movie, I believe, or Tom Hanks movie, anyways. Catch Me If You Can. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, Matt. Good movie.
I've seen parts of it. Yes, David Bowie song, but like people our age, for me and Phil, know the song more for the Nirvana cover. Not saying we don't know the David Bowie song.
Which song?
I'm aware of the song. The Man Who Sold the World from Unplugged.
Yep.
Well, from David Bowie, but most people our age know it from that Nirvana Unplugged album.
Were you a David Bowie fan, Matt?
Not. My wife is a very big David Bowie fan. I am not. I'm not anti David Bowie. It's just not a thing I ever got into.
Hey, it took one very cloudy night in a house in Nahant to get you to even be a Beatles fan. It takes a lot sometimes, Matt.
Yeah, but I was a kid then. I was 18. The one problem during the like credits is I have no idea if we're synced up or not because I don't know which word goes with like what part of it. So
I am Tony's Cigar, created by David Chase.
no, I'm slightly ahead of you. Then it's perfect.
Written by Michael Imperioli, directed by Steve Buscemi. Whoa! Okay, so this episode was directed by Tony B.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, this is a Tony B episode. Okay, so in this scene, interesting to note that Adriana is junking it up right here too. We don't often,
and I think they're both using it to cope with her with what she has going on, obviously, and Christopher with being thrust. I mean, he's still in charge until Paulie gets out, which hasn't happened yet.
I don't think Christopher's thrusting much right now with this addiction, but I understand your point. Right. But yeah, it never really becomes a problem with Adriana, but it's interesting to note that she seems to be dabbling a bit down that category. Do you answer the phone if you're Christopher? I mean, come on.
If I know it's Tony calling, I do.
I guess you have to. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Excuse me. Oh my God! I wish I could show you guys this dog staring at me. Like, why aren't you paying attention to me? Did you see the Sopranos Super Bowl commercial? I did not. There was a Sopranos Super Bowl commercial? Did you see? I probably saw it, and I'm just not thinking about it. I must have. Okay, so this is interesting because we don't often see outside people talking to our characters about the mafia from the outside perspective in this world. We see it a little bit with Milfy, like a lot with, probably most with her, a little bit with Meadow, but this is probably
some. Meadow is much more aware of what's going on. Like, I don't think AJ really has no idea what's going on right here. I mean, he's sort of oblivious.
He's oblivious, but and he also seems the most okay to kind of brag with it. And Matt, dare I say, this is the beginning of a story arc that ends later with AJ in the pool with the bag around his head about kind of selling on the fact that his dad's this cool guy, this mafia dude, is of what he wants to do to Junior, like when he goes and tries to shoot Junior. This is all starting AJ's arc. And that's what's sort of amazing to me here a little bit, that it's the start of a.
This is the first time you see AJ even aware that his dad's in the mafia. Really, that like other people know this about him. His dad's a known person. He's a celebrity to them. Like, Matt, I don't think he's seen that before.
I'm gonna blow your mind, not in a good way because you're AJ hater. It's not really. Blow your mind. But they even litter this a little bit earlier with AJ and the computer when Meadow does it in an earlier episode,
right.
And they show him like Googling the mafia for the first time. So they actually do try to do an ongoing storyline.
But I don't think he realizes to other people how it's perceived.
No, he's a fucking idiot. If we're doing a power rankings, and maybe we'll do a video on this at some point of idiots and most intelligent people, like I don't know what kind of scale, we'll do some sort of mathematical scale of idiot to smartest people on this show. AJ and Jackie Jr. are right there in that second tier dumbass compared to C and it was those other two idiots, the dudes that shot Fury.
Yeah, Bevilacqua and yeah,
like they're the next tier down, and it's
the guys who shot Christopher, like Matt Bevilacqua.
Yeah, those dudes are S tier idiots.
Who's at the other end?
Hash, you gotta say. Carmine Sr. probably in this life.
Not when the Carmine Jr. might be at the bottom too.
Probably. You gotta say Tony would be close to the top in this world, but maybe we oversell Tony because we know him so well. I do want to get into this scene a little bit with Christopher because Christopher comes in there junked up, and in fairness, he sells it that he's just drunk. And
yeah, he had a bottle of wine with Adriana.
Yeah, he just smoked a joint after whatever. The commercial was for the electric Chevy Silverado. It made me smile. I'll have to check this out. It's not flashing in my head right now. I know that one of the most underrated lost things in Sopranos history is, I believe, and I've never seen it, but when right before the LeBron decision, there was a video made by, I believe it was the Knicks, even though it's New Jersey, but it was the Knicks that made a video with Carmela and Tony after the Sopranos left, with Tony.
Oh yeah.
Tony in the witness protection program with a beard, begging LeBron to come to the Knicks. It was, but I've never seen it. I don't think it has yet to leak online anywhere. I've looked and looked and looked. If it's ever found, Matt, we're doing a live watch together.
So here they show up at Satriali's, and AJ's disappointed because he's like, "Oh, it's this place," and the other guys think it's cool because they know it's a front.
Yep. Yeah, they know it's like Janko olive oil, which if people haven't seen The Godfather, that is basically that version of that for the Corleone family. Okay, so I don't want to get too personal into my own life situations here, but Furio has a very accurate arc with this stuff. He gets close to the sun and then he backs off. Some people might not understand some of the stuff that happens here. Why Furio gets a little close and then he backs off at the end, because he starts thinking that it's not going to work out and you start second guessing yourself. Why does Carmela decide to set him up with somebody? A, because she wants to get close. B, she wants to sort of cross him off the list so she's not thinking about him in that way. So people do that. I've done that in situations where there's people worried about I've been interested in somebody and then they try to set you up with their friend, and I know that means that person's interested in me. So it's sometimes people do that just to. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Carmela and Furio, and I might not like this storyline, Matt, but it's done really believably in the way of watching their infatuation grow. I buy it. I just don't buy Furio as this person in everything that we've seen up until this point. But if this was somebody else and this was naturally who he was, I believe that they're getting hooked up. But where's Furio that would like slap a little child in the street? This is not Furio, Matt. What did they do?
No, Furio's an animal. Furio walks into that like Asian nail salon or massage parlor with a bat and just beats the women and everyone's senseless.
I guess we see him at the end of this episode showing up at the frog-eating Fudge the Goodge's house, but we don't get to actually see him in action. They take that away from us because they want us to think about this Furio, the one that Carmela is dreaming of. That it's interesting editing trick, and we missed. I spoke over that as Tony is just told there by Carmela that Gloria Trillo is dead. And it stops.
And I believe she says killed herself.
Yeah.
I believe.
And they talked about this is the same.
Sonic, your boy, I got to tell you, I literally about an hour ago saw a clip of Joe Rogan making Tom Segura watch a clip of a guy wrestling a bear that got killed, that like got his face torn off by it. So that's funny.
Anyways, I do want to talk a little bit here about Artie showing off the very definition of insanity. He doesn't just do this once, twice, 3 times a lady. He falls for these these hostesses, and it's just hilarious every time. Fortunately, the first one was Adriana, and she kind of let him down easy. And this one, the question I have, they were talking about this on Talking Sopranos too, Matt. Is she in on the scam, or does the brother just kind of use her to distract Artie, or is she in on this? Is the
brother even in on the scam?
Oh, totally. 100%. This is 100% a send me $100, you'll get it back, a bridge loan scam. I know this scam. I've had people try this scam on me. This is real. This is a real.
But don't they know that Artie's? I mean, she's got to know that Artie's connected in some sense. They don't, to like where he may be getting the money from.
They don't care. They probably think, honestly, if you met Artie and you weren't from the area and you didn't have a great inner knowledge of this thing of ours, would you ever think Artie wasn't full of shit? Or would you think Artie was
Qu'est-ce que c'est full of shit?
Yeah, wouldn't you think Artie was a your ex JS? Wouldn't you think he was one of those kind of people? Wouldn't you think he was just a bullshit artist that like making things up?
No, here's the only thing though. Why would she not quit immediately after he got the money and take off with him and leave? Like, why would she stay working there if she was in on it? That's why I don't think she is.
Right. I don't think so either. I think she was just a pawn in this, in a sense, and he might have said, distract Artie for a while, because she suddenly does start flirting with him a little bit more.
I mean, he essentially takes off on Artie, so there's no reason she would stick around.
No. And Artie's a fucking moron. That's all I got to say about that. And we'll get into this a little bit, but this is one of Artie's best episodes. I asked the trivia question, Matt, the poll question, is this Artie's best episode? I would say no, but it's close. For me, the best episode with Artie is the Benny Fazio Criminal Mastermind episode.
Criminal Mastermind, yeah. The third time he falls for a hostess.
Yeah, the third, yeah,
or
exactly.
Not falls for her, but like gets screwed over by one.
Because this time she actually talks back. She's like, you were only nice to me because you wanted to fuck me, and once you knew you could fuck me, and then me and Benny have sex and we make fun of you. Like that whole moment is just god tier hilarity, and to get to something more sad. They talked about this in the Talking Sopranos, and I'm going to steal a joke, but I don't care. This dude, this salesperson that tells Tony that she killed herself too, this must have been the same guy that told Carmela. Is this guy just telling everybody to try to make the sale that Gloria killed herself? Way to be a big mouth. Like, you might want to keep that information. He just tells everybody. He's telling Carmela, he's telling this person. It's this salesman. This guy's a chatty Cathy. You can tell. He's a mook. Oh, Malone.
She was really very helpful.
Yeah, Artie is a chooch. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. And this episode shows it perfectly. But I do want to, out of all Tony's gumas, do you believe that Gloria was the most important to him?
Why?
Or is he just, if this happened to any of them, he would go all sentimental?
Well, I think he'd be sentimental about any of them because the other ones he thinks of more like
pets.
Where like he's their protector. He's the person to protect them from the world. Like that's how and we see that, and I think it's not this episode, it's the next episode,
yes.
Right?
With Irina.
Yeah, we see that with Irina in the next episode. Gloria is the only one of his Gumars that we know of that I'm thinking, maybe I'm wrong, that is like he puts on a pedestal because she's so independent. She doesn't need him. That's the thing. She doesn't need him. She's also extremely mentally ill and in a way did need him, but she didn't need Tony to provide for her. That's the one thing. Everyone else needs Tony as like a provider, needs something from him. She didn't need any of that from him.
She needed to not be involved with a guy like Tony because I don't think it's ideal for her. We're going to get back to Gloria in a second because I have to say this is one of my favorite scenes in all of the entire Sopranos series. These two. This scene, like Artie, his mannerisms, his Ed Norton from the Honeymooners mannerisms. Joey Pants is incredible in this scene, and Ralphie uncharacteristically like doing the right thing, and then he calls Tony and tells Tony that
I don't know if he's doing the right thing. I think Ralphie realized he was shitting where he ate way too much recently and just needs to I gotta get out of this.
No, I legitimately think that Ralphie had the same spider sense Tony had and knows that Artie's getting himself in for a scam and is trying just not to let Artie do the thing that he would let Danny Scatino do.
Right. You're right. He's not.
Yeah, don't put.
Well, but he also knows if he tried to. I'm assuming they probably grew up together too.
He did. He was in recanonizing The Sopranos. Ralphie was one of the crew, and if we don't look at Many Saints, Sil, Ralphie, Artie, and Tony were all buddies growing up. They were they were Nick, Joe, you, me, and Elia growing up.
I don't know who's who, and I don't want.
I don't. I just picked. I don't know where Devin fits in there. No offense to any of those people because I know those guys listen. As both Elia and Devin, when we saw them last week, said great to see you guys streaming again. Give Matt my love. So lots of love to you guys if you happen to be out here watching that. Either of you two silly individuals. We got Killmonger in the live chat. Dude just dropped a Ralphie the Devil video. Can't think of his name. Haven't watched it yet. There's a lot of really good ones. I highly recommend those too, and I will try to check that out. But yeah, I love how Ralphie refuses him, and I love all the mannerisms. And this is another great fucking scene in this episode, Matt. There's a lot of weird edits in this episode, especially at the end I'll talk about it when we get there, in the hospital scene with Tony and Artie.
So you're saying you don't like Tony B as a director?
I didn't say that. Stop putting words in my mouth, Matthew. So I don't think I've ever called you Matthew in the 40.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
I think in the almost 40 years I've known you, I've never called you Matthew.
That was as awkward as
Well, it's pretty awkward.
It was.
That's as awkward as eating onion rings, listening to "Don't Stop Believin'" at the table. I love how Tony very, very casually puts the holder. They refer to this later in the episode, but you loomed, you hit my thing, and this is also connected to something you might forget. They mention it. Tony's also upset at Melfi for recommending that whatever the other thing.
Yeah, the one that was sending told Meadow she should take a semester off and go do what she want to do across
right.
Europe.
So Tony already has sort of a hair across his ass for Melfi right now.
Confidentiality even after a patient is dead. But with something like this, there's no one cause.
Jay's
And Tony as
Love you,
much
Jay.
as Tony like feels bad about her dying, he very much is kind of making this about himself. And you know, I'm the biggest Tony apologist in the world. This is about him. Like, did I do this? Like, was this about me?
Dude, we're talking about and thinking about what the theme is in these episodes. This whole episode is about how selfish Tony is and how he makes everything about himself. And to the point where he starts needing people to tell him he's awesome and he's okay and absolve him from the blame, whether it be blame Melfi in this situation, whether it be in this situation with Artie, by knowing, because Artie is right when he calls this out later. And I'll ask you, do you think Tony knows exactly how this is going to go and says, worst case scenario, I take on the debt and I eat for free and I get to be a hero to Artie right now and be the good guy?
I don't think he's hoping that's what happens with Artie. He genuinely loves Artie. We see that over and over and over again.
Matt, key of what you said here. I don't want to play Brady Bunch exact words here. I don't think he's hoping. I think he thinks. It's like if your buddy who keeps failing in relationships gets another relationship, you hope it goes all right, but you know it's gonna fuck up again somehow. Like Tony knows whatever Artie's in, that he's a chump and it's gonna fail, and he's in the worst case scenario, he's out $50,000. He takes on whatever debt this is, and he goes, but I agree with you, he hopes the best for Artie. That's why he doesn't take the restaurant. That's why he doesn't Scatino him. But I don't think he thinks, even like, just look at the way he's looking at this whole situation. He's like, okay, whatever chump thing you want, here's the money.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's done. Have you ever had
for those people who weren't around long enough, Goose was like the hottest thing in the world.
Yeah, Goose was Tito's for a while with vodka. When Goose first came out, it became the thing vodka there for a little bit. I never liked Goose that much, but I do like Tito's.
I used to love Grey Goose. So.
Used to drink a lot of vodka during the Atkins days.
I did, and a lot of Captain, and I don't do either anymore.
Yeah, we'll have to change that at some point. Jackie C is here, Jackie C, don't think I didn't see your question in the last stream about a request for a congo or a trumpet solo. I can't do trumpet right now, but the congas are set up right now, and there might be a moment to step over there and do a little bongo congoing in between episodes tonight. We'll see about that. But great to see the amazing Jackie C in the live chat. Great to see Killmonger. Tony let Artie point point guns at him, throw food at him, and Artie don't have to worry ever about Tony killing him. I think that is true because Tony wants to believe he's not a horrible person and he has one real friend. Even in the fights with Carmela, when she starts talking about, you have a bunch of yes men, his one go-to is Artie. And sorry, I'm distracted because this is one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the history of The Sopranos because it's both horrifying and sexually arousing. So it messes with a lot of instinctual feelings, and it shows you the levels of sickitude that Tony's mind kind of can go into here, Matt. And it reminds me a lot of... Do you even remember the Jane's Addiction music video VHS cassette Gift?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's all about...
Speaking of conga drop, like there's a huge tribal thing in Gift, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and it's the story of it is someone is Perry Farrell is doing heroin with his wife. She ODs, and before calling the cops, he prepares her body and makes love to it one last time, and it's all like synced up and orchestrated with Jane's Addiction music and stuff. It's pretty sick.
Weirdly, not the most fucked up thing that's ever come out of Perry Farrell, but yeah.
but pretty fucking weird. The Mind is a Wonderland. I have no idea what this show is, but I think Phil's a great guy, and I'm here to listen in. Mind is a Wonderland. Your comment is a wonderland. I see why your name is like that, and I am going to dance the fun dance. I'm going to get up during this horribly depressing scene, and now's the time for some bongos, Matt. During
now of all the
during some sadness. We need sadness music right now. Here. Sadness is over. Prozac.
I felt Garthy there for a moment, but it's fine.
What was that?
I felt Garthy there, but like the thing is, Tony also can't tell anyone in his life about Gloria killing herself.
No, he can't relate to anybody. He did, except for Melfi.
Except for Melfi.
Yeah, except for Melfi. She's the only one, and he's not telling her in a way that she's open to it. Trippy sadness. It was a trippy sadness scene. It was the scene was making me sad, so I thought that was the time where I needed to go bongo here and get into a hippie drum circle. So that is for Jackie C, who requested that in the last.
Oh, Killmonger! Absolutely not.
What did Killmonger say?
You will not be. No, you will not be starting with the Saints of Newark.
Oh. We don't talk about that here.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Bad idea.
Matt, sorry, I'm hearing that in Artie's voice. So Tony, in the middle of the night, drunk as a skunk, calls cousin Brian and sets up this thing that Carmela's wanted for this whole time. And he's feeling guilty, and he's trying to do good things to try to satisfy the people and make him feel better, because as always, Tony is making this about himself. It stretches through the entire series. You can say what you want, and we can cut hairs on, is Tony a psychopath, is Tony this, is Tony that, is Tony this bad person. One thing I think there is no argument for, Tony is 100% a narcissist. It's all about Tony all the time. He doesn't want to hear you talk. You start telling Tony about a problem.
Yeah, but I think he wants to use Brian too, though. Like it doesn't hurt him to have a financial, like,
he's
a person in his life. Granted, he's using him. But.
He's already ganking Brian essentially and getting him under his wing. That's my
Killmonger. Killmonger. That never happened. Junior did not kill Dickie. It's bullshit.
You would, Mr. Magoo.
There was a police officer killed Dickie.
Mr. Magoo was standing there. I saw him. He was just hanging out there. I love how Killmonger's trolling you right now. Mark Houston, who is here, we can finally not rush the motherfucking process. There you go, buddy. I love you. He's 100% narcissist. I don't think. I mean, we can cut hairs on whether he's a good person at heart somewhere, but I think Tony is somebody that literally makes every single situation all about himself. And sorry, dog. So So Artie's being secretive. This is something I don't quite get. Artie's being secretive about this, handing off the money, but later in the episode, Charmaine knows about the investment. So he didn't really need to be cloak and dagger about it. Anyways,
no, they're separated at this point, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they're separated on the road to divorce at this point. So AJ is on the couch with his rich girlfriend, and this
Devin, who is disappointed by him right now because she makes that line about like, I thought you'd have like the Corleone compound.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the crazy mafia house that she was.
Meanwhile, this house is easily in nowadays prices $1.5 million house.
Yeah.
In New Jersey,
and,
I'd say.
And her house has to be like 100 billion.
No, hers has to be right. Hers is like 15, 20, 30 million.
Why so curious? 100%. Artie has wanted to feel like he's part of the mafia and part of this crew and doing in a badass motherfucker that you shouldn't fuck with anybody for so long. It's not even funny. And if it wasn't for Charmaine, he probably would be a low-level bum working for Tony, or Vesuvio would be like the crazy horse or something, would just be under Tony's thumb, but with a little bit more protection because of his love for him. But Artie doesn't have Artie's like AJ. It's when Tony starts talking about AJ doesn't quite have the balls for this work. Artie's the same way. Artie could never be. It's like me. I could never quite be in this kind of business. Like even if I did have connections and stuff, I don't have the strength for it. I don't have the guts and balls for it.
You say that now, but that's because of how you were raised and who was around you is different than.
In fairness, Matt, topics for different days, but I was sort of raised around it to a certain extent. But
yeah, I know, but not with the alpha male side of it. I don't think.
No,
but I don't know.
No, you're right about that. It was more. I was spent a lot of time around the wives and sisters and people like Angie Bonfacera running numbers through it, like more adjacent type stuff, when it really came down to it, helping out in the clubs that were gambling establishments on Revere Beach when I was a kid, stuff like that. Like so
and Luna, she is
running numbers.
This is her slumming it right here.
Yes, 100%. 100%, but I think she likes AJ though. AJ screws this one up. So AJ calls his sister. Somehow his brain goes to maybe we can not. Let's get a hotel because AJ at least has enough money for a hotel at this point in time.
Are you allowed to rent a hotel when you're like this age though? That I don't remember.
That's true.
You must be able to though.
I think not now. I think now you would probably need to be 18 and show ID. Back then, you could probably easily get a motel.
When did you get taller than me?
It's funny how Artie is the dorky cook that's married to one of the hottest women in the Sopranos. I agree, especially in this episode. I'm just like, she's the smart one. I was like, that's. I haven't heard D'Angelo since I was a teen. Yeah, on those like mixtapes, Jackie C. Did someone make you a mixtape with Babyface and D'Angelo and Boys to Men and stuff? I know I made people mixtapes with that stuff.
What for?
Artie could cook a rabbit better than Bill in The Last of Us. Hey,
this is the most unrealistic thing for. Why would he be going there of all places? Like you can't find any place closer to you.
Seriously, like ask your buddies if they have a room or something like that. If she's comfortable about who she is and she's comfortable to call a car again, she can't suggest let's get a room at the Ritz.
But they can go to some random building on her property, on her parents' property that they'll never even find out about.
They could go in the back of a limo.
Yes.
She could have got a bigger car. Like, I don't know. Going to the city to ask your sister to go in her dorm room. Like a dorm room in the middle of NYU is where she Columbia.
With a roommate.
Yeah. And AJ totally turned his nose up at Meadows' friend at the law
Oh,
center.
this talk about awkward.
Horrible.
This is awkward when he starts talking about the.
Dude, this is one of the most ridiculously stupid, and I don't mean stupid like badly written. And this is what I mean, Matt. These are these like, I believe that everything we know about Tony and Carmela, this is the kind of kid that they would raise, not Meadow. Meadow is too like television perfect. She would be not that well adjusted. I still don't quite know how the Meadow we saw in high school, and at the point where Meadow runs out of the funeral, even in the first year of college, and with the Jackie Jr. stuff, I guess it was Jackie Jr.'s death. You could say that. Seeing his death, being that close to him, realizing that she needed to get her shit together because she didn't really want to be a part of this world. But then she ends up with Patsy's kid. It's weird.
Right.
Meadows' storyline is weird to me. Because...
By the way, that was a nice dig at me right there, by the way. His dad's a math teacher. That was the insult that came up with.
You're a retired math teacher. It's okay.
Not retired. No, don't make me feel that old. I'm former.
Does that mean you might go back one day? I almost sent you a mobile math teaching job. I found when I was looking at jobs.
Oh my God, please do.
Oh, well, let me see if I can find it. It was on Indeed.
What do you mean?
He was gonna call me. I left him a
Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta grab a drink.
See, like, if she was in on this, I don't think she'd still be
You're
here.
Garth. Go Garth.
He always works strange hours. The time difference. By the time we're waking up, they're already at home.
But she is making excuses for him, so I have no idea.
I almost forget. I bring you something. Boulevard is loose. It's from PA. Oh no. I have to put the flowers in the vases.
Like, why would she bring that to him?
Yeah, this is where it seems like she knows, right? Right? This is where it seems like she knows something and she's doing this to distract him. Like the brother said, distract and Charmaine being the smartest person in the room.
In the show. She may be the top of your list when you go the dumbest to smartest. Charmaine may be at the very top.
Yes, Charmaine and Rosie's pretty damn smart. But I would say Charmaine's even more smart because she knew to stay out of the situation. This is an interesting scene where Carmela really doesn't care. And she's just thinking, she's almost in her way, went there hoping that she could talk Adriana of going because she wants to invite Furio and set him up on this date.
Oh, she's looking for anyone to come be that middleman with her and Furio.
Mm-hmm. So Adriana kind of is starting to pull out of all social gatherings, and Carmela's making mental note of it. She pulls out of the Billy Joel concert, and Carmela's going to invite Furio, and she's excited about it.
Few things are more horrifying than watching Janice say, "Ooh, I love marrow."
Sucking the bone marrow out of the situation.
Yeah, just like full-fledged in the middle of a restaurant.
I got to tell you something, Matt. I love every single time we get a Janice and Tony scene. They play off each other. They play off each other so goddamn well, and they have some of the best chemistry on the show, and no one can kind of talk to him and cut through some of the bullshit rather than Janice. Janice just has such an amazing kind of touch to the way she talks to him. Sonic, your boy. Sonic.
She's also like the older sister, like there's that. Well, yeah. It's always hard, Phil, because I know you don't have siblings, so it's like a weird.
I mean, I have my.
It's also weird, like me and my wife. Like I'm the oldest, and she's the youngest of like 7. We just have such different experiences with our siblings.
I mean, I have cousins that I'm close. You know how close I am to my cousins, so
yeah,
it's almost like they're older siblings. But you're right. I didn't grow up personally with siblings. And I could consider Nick kind of like a brother for how close I was to him growing up. But still, that's technically not true. And I have half sisters, but I didn't grow up with them and didn't discover that till much later. So it's I'm in sort of a weird position where sibling relationships is I feel like I'm a robot and I don't quite understand them. Like I'm Data trying to understand emotions on Star Trek. I'm like, I don't quite understand sibling relationships. It seems peculiar to me. Like I don't get the dynamic 100% because sometimes siblings fucking hate each other, but they still love each other because you have to love your sibling. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Sometimes they're best friends. Sometimes siblings never talk to each other. I don't quite understand the dynamic all the time. And Tony and Janice have one of the most unique sibling relationships in anything because they almost have a relationship, Matt, like they're survivors of a war. They survived their parents.
They've been through that same shit together. Yeah, 100%. The only person who's been through all the weird shit that happened with like my father's side of the family growing up is like Michelle. She's the only person. Oh, sorry, my sister that starts with an M.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm
sure the only person
you can
that like has looked at.
You can say their names. If I'm saying it, just out of respect, I'm gonna do the initials. If you say it, it's a lot different, and I know she wouldn't care if I said her name, but you know what I mean. It's just. Yeah,
that's a fucked up move by Tony right there. Yeah, I put that on my tab.
Yeah, especially in this.
So maybe you are right because he ends up saying at the end, "You're just gonna wipe off my tab."
Yep.
Tab when he knows.
100%, and he just adds to it. And this is an ongoing storyline throughout the series with this tab. And as Artie accosts Tony in the bathroom, and just look at Tony.
John Haymaker, Barbara. I always forget her name, but I've remembered it now. Barbara's the other sister.
Look at Tony's face during this whole scene while Artie's talking. He knew what was coming. He just the smile like, Artie, have you gone over there? You got to go over there. I don't know. It's hilarious. Right there. Right in this.
Hold on. Where is the brother? The brother's in Europe right now, right? He's in France.
Which brother?
Not the guy that owes him money. He's in France, right?
No.
With the time difference.
I think he just works those hours because Artie actually goes to his house in a minute here.
Right.
So I think he's still there. I think he just works those different odd hours is what she was talking about. And
yeah, he wouldn't get on a plane and go to fucking France. Like that's not happening.
And if Tony really wanted to help him right there, what he would have turned to him right there and said, I'm going to send Furio with you. Let's go. You go over there, but, I understand, Artie. Let me send Furio with you. That's what he should have done. But no.
We get to hear the lines.
We get this.
Here we go.
But we get this scene. I got to turn up the volume to Matt.
Those fucking shoes you wear. What are they?
They do this so well, too, because you see the whole rehearsed thing. And then you see how it happens in real time when he actually goes there to do it.
Crying now, huh? Stand up.
You frog-eating fudge-de-gudge.
It's so good.
You frog-eating fudge-de-gudge. We got the Inglewood Rose in the live chat. Matt, I did a whole podcast. Oh, we'll talk about that at the end. I did a whole show the other night where I felt so bad. With showing them my wonderful Lakers fans the respect that I felt sad for them that their Lakers series ended with a Celtics win.
I still haven't finished watching that yet. I'm like a couple episodes into season 2, I think. But that's all there is season 2, right?
Yeah, and it unfortunately ends in season 2. Great scene here with Christopher as he is just so far off. But great to see Inglewood Rose in the live chat. Benny beat Artie into a coma before Tony's body was cold. I 100% agree with that. The minute Tony is dead, Tony dies, Benny Fazio, criminal mastermind, shows up at Vesuvio, knocking on the door like, Hey, Artie, remember me? I'm about to go all Doogie Howser on your ass and fucking take my time and do some surgery. Case to say, your phone machine broken? And it doesn't get...
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, Barbara's barely in the series and she's several different characters. Inglewood, always up to no good. Sorry, that was horrible. Oh, shut up. Why is it? Because, again, this guy flips it around, Matt. This was supposed to just be a bridge loan. This has not an investment. I wasn't saying, Matt, give me $100 so I can take it to the casino and play poker. And if I win, I'll pay you back. If I lose, you get nothing. This was loan me $100. I get paid at the end of the week. I want to go play some poker tonight. I'll give you the $100 either way. And it turned into no. My game's not doing too well right now, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm not doing too good. My flushes keep getting busted by bigger flushes, Matt. I don't know. Fucking, you fucking no, you moron. But my question, or not that it really matters, is, but I don't think this guy. I don't even think there's a deal. I think this dude just pocketed Artie's money. I don't even think. I think this is just a scam. It's like the Nigerian prince scam or something. It's
You
just
think
like,
they're doing the same one everywhere?
yeah, it's like the scam money. Like, send me money and we're gonna do this thing, and you do that for a bunch of people. You make your nut. There's no investment.
It's so funny because that earring's the thing that he got in his ear to fucking try to impress women. It's like the most bullshit thing in the world, and that's what he goes for.
This is one of the things I love most about The Sopranos, Matt. When you watch fights and some stuff, it's not believable. Every fight on The Sopranos, I'm just thinking of three big ones right off the bat. This one, Bobby Bacala and Tony in Soprano home movies, and the one we're going to see in a couple of episodes between Ralphie and Tony, is so real.
Oh yeah, the Ralphie and Tony one's great.
It's just how fights really feel. It's not good. So this kid.
Well, Phil. It's not going to be cinematic.
It's definitely that it will be my.
No, not too soon to make a Gloria joke, I guess.
No, that wasn't the last face that was probably the last face she thought about. It was not soon enough. This was years ago. So these two motherfuckers show up here, and this kid, I almost feel like, I'll say it again, that they were trying to make this kid a thing, and he wasn't really a thing. Beetle hair kid a thing.
I know, like him showing up, Luna, with a leather jacket, like it's like everything in his head of what would be intimidating, what would make me a badass right now.
What?
He's
the jacket? Sorry.
Yeah, the jacket.
The jacket. Matt, don't you mean the jacket? Thank you, Johnny.
The jacket.
So, Matt, as we're starting to get towards the end of this episode, unlike last week, I'm not going to fuck this up. Let's just let this roll right into the next one.
So we're going to sit through all the credits then?
I guess we have.
Oh, no, it'll automatically kick in.
Right, it'll do like in 5 seconds. I mean, we may need to readjust time at some point, but we're just going to, if you want to keep watching with us as we're getting towards the end of this episode, as Artie starts to drink and take pills. I almost feel like this is the scene where they would play Everyone Hurts. Everybody hurts. Sometimes. So Artie calls Tony. Oh yes, the Icelandic fucking stewardess team. Someone who mentioned it earlier. I wasn't sure. I didn't know why you were referencing that earlier, and now I remember. And I watched this episode yesterday. It just didn't occur to me.
I just want you to know that I tried.
Why is that polar bear crushing that toothpick? Sorry.
And I love you.
On that note, Tony Teflon is still scheduled to fight the kangaroo. It's one of the things you might in fact see at the convention when it happens. We might see we might be arranging Tony versus the kangaroo 1-on-1.
And this isn't, Artie's just not talking about just this. It's about with women outside of his wife, his ability to like
I think
pull off something mafioso, period.
I think in some of it is
Oh, it's the girls from Icelandic Air.
Some of it is also that he just doesn't know how he could possibly pay Tony back, and he couldn't imagine losing his restaurant in Charmaine, finding out that he, took money from Tony. Like, there's so much pressure that he's probably just thinking this is the easiest solution, and it's Tony does the smartest thing possible here. He calls 911, and Artie gets the help he needs, but we do come back to that scene later in the episode. Excuse me.
So this is like a real
honestly, what I know about Tony, I'm taking Tony again. If this is Tony Teflon versus the 7 feet tall predator alien, I'm on my buddy Tony's side. I'm back there. I'm in his corner. I'm yelling on the side. They have to fight me too. That's what I will say that to. I'm not much. I'm like a little fly that they'll swat off while Tony's doing the hard work, but I'll at least make it difficult. I'll at least bite the alien's like Achilles heel or something. You know, I'm scary.
So stupid.
Anyways,
So stupid. Yeah.
AJ's never seen wealth like this either.
no.
I don't care.
I mean, this is the equivalent of when we were younger. Some of the houses that some of the people we went to school with were in, and then going to J.S.'s house on Tip Top Lane.
Or JH's house.
Or JH's, yes, or JH's house. It was a different kind of thing. You're like, oh my god, this is half a like several.
Either JH, actually, the JH I was friends with later. Either one of those JHs.
Right, you know the two I'm talking. Yeah, but that was both their initials actually. Yes, both those houses were disgusting. Disgust like that kind of disgusting. Especially the one we weren't as close with. Had the gate in the front, and you had to drive up to get to the house, and the underpass, and all that sort of stuff.
How am I supposed to feel?
Right there.
How am I supposed to feel?
Yeah, that's all he cares about. And even in this, even how when he solves this problem, I don't want people to know I helped you. Enough people hate me. There's a weird edit here that
Well, he is giving him an out here. Tony would rather have his $57,000 back than.
Yeah, than having to collect on this guy, even though he'll make more on this dude. But one thing I do want to mention in this scene, watch it close, Matt, as we're getting into it. At the point where Artie turns and says, the cobwebs are clean, I know everything. It cuts quick, and then Tony's quick, like, you suicide, he screams. I feel like there was a whole 5 minutes of dialogue cut out of this scene that I wish we could have watched. I like this scene. It's amazing. This episode's great. I do feel like I hope one day David Chase doesn't give us another movie, gives us a Beatles documentary that was on Apple Plus kind of situation that is just 3 nights on HBO of 3-hour blocks of unedited out scenes of the Sopranos, like something that's just edited together with behind the scenes stuff and edited scenes of stuff that got cut out, because I feel in so many episodes, especially early on in the first 4 seasons, so much was bigger moments were cut, and I feel like there's so much to the scene that I want to see. Tony, I just called you Tony because Tony was a man.
Oh,
so sorry, Matt. Sorry, Tony.
And he had an out here. He got away with this until he has to run his mouth to Tony here.
But he's right. He's right. And I think that's what pisses Tony off. Tony, I share this trait, Matt. I'll tell you everything wrong with me. You say it. You can say it because, you, Joe, or Nick, or whatever, you guys can say it. But, someone I don't know as well say it. I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck you. But,
there's a nice. You love when Tony spits on people. He did a great job there. Huge loogie.
Oh, he's
getting Artie needed something else to go wrong with him. Having someone spit in his face and tell him, you suicide.
And Matt, there's a lot of spit takes in this episode. This is a very spitty episode. Get to the chopper now. I must admit, the first time. Oh no, I was just gonna say something bad. Part of my wedding vows with my ex-wife were get to the chopper now. Thank you, Luna. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Enough people hate me. You fought back. They ripped your ear out of your ear.
I mean, I get why Tony's doing this, because he doesn't want to look like a mark. And I guess the only other person that could possibly know anything is Ralphie, and Ralphie's not going to say anything, and Ralphie won't be able to say something pretty soon. Anyway, so...
You understand me? I will owe you shit.
And what's interesting is when he talks to Melfi here at the end about this situation, he says, he called me an animal, a hawk. for his love of animals, you would think that being called someone with instinctual animal traits would be something Tony would actually
Not
like.
only that, like an apex animal, like an animal at the top of the chain.
Yeah, like a hawk that
Like a captain of industry type of guy, as he calls himself before.
Exactly.
The captain of industry of the animal world, of the bird world.
My grandfather's sitting on the table in front of him.
Tony is one charming motherfucker. I mean,
She's wearing a blue dress.
they are one in the same. James Gandolfini was a charming human being, and obviously, I think is.
So the next day,
This is a hard question, Matt, and I guess it's a bigger question. Is
steak pizzola.
charm transferable in an acting sense? Or is it something that is someone that doesn't have charm at all, can they be charming when they act? They can be a good actor, but is charm one of those things that's an inherent skill that you either have, an inherent ability that you either have or you don't have? Can you learn having...
Can you be an actor without charm? either,
Yes.
though?
Oh, yeah. You can actually be... You can 100% be an actor without charm.
Name an actor without charm.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
You're right. He has no charm.
You know what I mean? He's one of the best actors in the world, but I wouldn't call him...
You're right. He does not know.
Gary Oldman.
Marlon Brando in real life, I don't know if he had charm.
He didn't have charm in real life. He knew how to play it on screen.
Yeah.
You know, some say De Niro has a wet blanket when you meet him in real life, but he definitely knows how to play charm. But I guess as an actor, you need to know how to play charm, right?
Yeah, but it's a weird thing if you don't have it, how to play that. I don't know. Because I think that's something that people would,
And I can see 20 steps down the road how it's going to go. And
if they were capable of turning it on, they just would in their regular life, because there's no downside to being charming as a like a default setting
Yeah. But
if you happen to have it. But I don't know, because I guess Daniel Day-Lewis could play charming.
is it that it factor that is often joked about in other things, like a music that, as Hesh talks about in Hit is a Hit, is charm?
That's a hit.
Yeah, that's a hit. You just know it's a hit. You know, you hear I saw her standing there. It's a fucking hit. I don't know. The mind is a wonderland. Thank you for sticking around, Wonderland, even though we know that you don't know this show. I appreciate you keeping with the flow. I just felt like I had to do a rhyme. I mean it, and I do want a peanut. So, shut me up. Okay, so this scene with Melf and Tony is another interesting one. After a couple of episodes of not really having them, we get into Tony talking again about...
They can both go fuck
Yeah, they
themselves.
can go both fuck themselves. All the suicides are all about him. And again, how he deals with it is... in his mind, he check marks shit. He donated some money, he checked a box, and it's done. And he's not going to think about that anymore, essentially. And then we see Furio showing up at the frog-eating Fudge-de-Gudge's house to play a little old game of fuck the frog. I don't know.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Put my hearing out, motherfucker. Try that. And then we get AJ getting shit talked a little bit, and then this is weirdly foreshadowing the end of the season when Tony buys Whitecaps. It's to give his family more that Corleone kind of feel. So everybody,
But it's crazy because, again, they have money.
they do. They have money. It's ridiculous. So we're going right into an episode. Matter we sync.
But yeah,
Oh, cool.
we're perfectly synced. But the person that Phil and I went to high school with, whose family was very much a part of this thing of ours, they kind of did have a compound.
Yes. Oh, they totally had a compound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally had a compound. It was the front section, and then you went down into the back, and that's where the real house was. So there was like a front house area. They had a huge guest area house, and then there was like right down on the mountains. You could kind of go down to the water, so you could take off in the boat. So you could kind of leave. They had a dock at the bottom of it and stuff like. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It wasn't as big as you might imagine, but our mutual friend.
You went in there and felt like the person that lived in that house was part of this thing of ours.
Yes,
just by like the security.
The security was insane. Yeah, but say John H, not Jesse H. But both of them, their houses were bigger, but this This just
Yes.
felt like you were in a compound. Like the way it was, there was as you said, security everywhere. At a time where cameras weren't common, there were cameras everywhere. It was there was a security room. I saw the security room where every spot in there even was closely monitored except for the bathrooms. It was a very crazy place. Why So Curious says Tony is very charming. I'd go on a date with him. You know, why not?
What do you hear?
Oh no, he's fucking.
There's the famous
foul.
line.
No.
That's the line. Who was it that used to come into these chats and say, "What do you hear? What do you say?" It was someone that's in here.
I think it's John Haymaker. I'm not sure. John Haymaker also says, I'm not a chick, but I'd rather go out with Furio. Jackie C says, I would not date Tony. Jackie C.
John Haymaker, you just love that shirt he was wearing in the episode when he dances with Carmela. Like, that's irresistible to you, which is what's wild.
Jackie C, is it because Tony is in this thing of ours, or is it because you, as he would say, you don't like his face? Would you date Furio or Christopher Maltasante theoretically in this thing of ours, or you would just stay away from anyone associated with the criminal enterprise?
There it is. What do you hear? What do you say? Yeah.
I gotta say, Steve Sharippa, Bobby Bacala has the funniest line in the episode here, as this is Paulie's song that's called Nancy, I believe, that's about Nancy Sinatra, Tony's Frank Sinatra's daughter, and it's his song, and Bobby Bacala's like, Nancy, what the fuck is this? His fucking song. It's just it's a careful you might miss it kind of line coming up here in a second. It's just funny to me. Am Googling Tony. Yeah, Mind is Wonderland. Google Tony Soprano and let us know if you would date Tony Soprano. This is going to be good because the Mind is a Wonderland has never seen The Sopranos, so she's just judging Tony strictly on physical appearance.
Yeah, but he's not physically attractive in the least. I mean, he has what a lot of people have. He's attractive because of his power in that world.
But yes, imagine the person you're looking at, Mind is Wonderland, is very, very rich, very powerful with their money.
Runs the mafia.
Runs the mafia.
Other people look up to him as like an alpha.
He has a quality like he could destroy anyone around you, but he's soft and nice and likes animals.
Loves animals.
Sonic says, I'm a dude. I'd date Adriana, Tony's wife and daughter. Yeah, I mean, Sonic, that's different. I believe I did ask that person out on a date. She said no, but that's big. But I don't know. Actually, I don't think I ever asked. But I did.
John Haymaker, remember that doesn't exist here. He's bringing up Saints of Newark again.
So look at the smile that Tony gets as he sees Brian with the stripper and doing coke. Like, I got him. He's mine now. He's mine. This was the scene I was watching last night when I saw Cosette, and I was just thinking, dead dog walking. Look at that dog. That's a dead dog, man. That dog's gonna be crushed in T-minus 5 episodes. T-minus 5.
It's so weird, like not knowing that neither, like right now we have no idea that both of them are dying.
Why So Curious says, just be clear, going on a date and dating are different things. Tony isn't trustworthy. All he does is cheat, but she'd take the dinner. Like, he's going to, like, I would go on a date with Tony. I wouldn't date him, but I go on one date, date him enough that you're getting that gift. He's taking you out to some nice places. I mean, worst case, he's taking you to the zoo and you're having sex in the monkey cage or whatever. What did he do with Gore? Was it the monkeys or walking the Cosette walking down the Green Mile right now? John Haymaker. Luna says, no, it's not the power or the money, it's the attitude. Tony's got the swag. But I'll add that I think he has the swag because of the power and the money. Like, if
he had the swag without those other things, you'd immediately see through him.
Kevin Finnery isn't getting the stewardess from the Icelandic stewardess air. Kevin Finnery is not doing that because he doesn't have. But I agree, it is the swag, it's the confidence, not necessarily the money that's doing it. But when you have that to fuel you, it's easier to be confident like that.
Cousin Brian's one of the more attractive guys in the show. We've talked about how unattractive the guys are.
Mm-hmm.
but he's not part of this thing of ours at all. So
Oh, the mind is a wonderland. As my name says, I'm a man who can move my mind. I will watch the clips of the show after the live and see about the characters. The mind is a wonderland. I hope you project your consciousness into the HBO subconscious universe and look into the interspecies romances that happen on the Sopranos entity and engulf all of that and assimilate all that before our next encounter. Sorry, I'm drunk. Actually, I'm not. But no, great to see you. Thank you so much for staying with us, and we hope to see you next time too. We're not going anywhere yet. I just wanted to make sure I said all that. So here's where Cousin Brian doesn't realize that you can't just talk to people that are criminal masterminds. Or too smart, or I wouldn't say masterminds, but two very smart thinking criminal people.
Connected.
Yeah, Brian.
Who have the means. Like the people that you need to pull this off are local politicians and people that they know, of which they know they're very much on that. This isn't like the Hells Angels or like a local. The Bloods of the Crips or a gang trying to pull something off. These are people that are 100% in white collar crime, and that's what they do.
Now, do you think Brian? And I love how they cut so people don't actually know what the scam is, but this is a real scam. Do you think Brian had any idea that they were, or any idea that they were going to actually do this? Was he? Excuse me, completely sort of an innocent dupe. Here's
the thing: I don't think Brian at this point really knows the level of crime that they're committing.
Right.
What has Brian seen so far? He's seen a strip club. He's seen them owning a horse. He's seen legitimate. Phil and I have talked about this before, but that person that we went to high school with, their father was the person that was in this thing of ours. Their son, so the brother of the person we went to high school with, has a ton of legitimate businesses that they run that makes a fortune. They have like monopolies in the area where we grew up from legitimate businesses now that were originally funded by this sort of money. But that person doesn't really, and I don't know if they do or not, but let's just say they have enough money and contracts with local
organizations and stuff like that.
Organizations.
So ingrained in the community.
They don't need to be, doing real crime anymore, and they're totally financially profitable because to start up some of those companies, you just need that capital.
Right. They're so
and
ingrained.
The connections.
Yep. They're so ingrained in the community, they just can't be untied from that. So,
so he may think that Tony is that guy.
I don't know about that just because he's related to Carmela and Carmela's connected and he's got to at least have heard stories his whole life about who Tony Soprano is, right?
Carmela doesn't know that Tony's like murdering people and doing all this stuff, though. I don't.
Oh,
think.
Shut up! Carmela has a shotgun in the friggin'. Carmela knows. She
knows loan sharking and stuff.
She grew up around people like Dickie Montesante. Carmela, come on. I'm gonna side with Tony Soprano. Carmela is blissfully. She's like Livia with that. She knows exactly the way they live their life. She's not an idiot.
Don't compare her to Livia. That's fine.
But if you're saying that she's an ostrich in this and she doesn't know and she's not aware of what happens, her and Ro, the way they talk about this, they know exactly how these dudes live their life.
Luna, that's correct. It is a primal subconscious thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, Phil. But
no, I was done. I was done because I'm right. They know what the hell is going on here. I do have to compliment. I don't know the name of the actor. Not Congressman Zeller, the other dude. He plays this whole part so excellently well in this duplicity kind of feeling that he's going through it all, but he feels so bad. You can see the conflict within him about doing it. Zellman is a fucking moron.
Which is why he's tied up with Tony. Like, he's not a self-respecting.
He's not, but then you don't. Tony's right. I mean, you don't pick an ex-mafioso's Gumar to be your girlfriend when you're in a position where you could probably have that kind of dynamic with a lot of women if you wanted to, because you're in a position of.
Yeah, but Phil, you know this better than anyone, and I'm calling this out to you personally. The heart wants what the heart fucking wants.
And I've done some. And
don't act like you haven't.
No, and I have. I have. There's a situation with a mutual friend of ours I don't want to name names and stuff like that, but you know a couple of situations where I've done almost that same thing.
I'm well aware, yeah.
But that person wasn't connected to this thing of ours. Wasn't Tony Soprano. He was somebody that I knew was so friendly with you and Joe and people like that you guys could deflate the situation for me, and I wasn't going to get a knuckle sandwich, and it worked.
Well, it happened more than once, but
it did happen once. I was a bad kid. I've done that. I've been in situations like that more times than I often wish to admit. Because
we're all guilty of that.
Because when the heart, I know the situation you're talking about. I was talking about a different one, but that was a messed up one, really. But yeah, in that situation. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm gonna talk about that right now. I forgot it. I know what you're talking about. I just want some pizza at that place, and I'm gonna order some pizza from Mandy's. Shit, I'm hungry. Oh my god. Okay. So, anyways, I should have stayed with my Gumar's house. She knows where all that money comes from. She just she does exactly. Carmela likes to pretend she doesn't know anything. So right here, this awkward motherfucker tells Tony that he's been falling in love with Tony's ex Kumar. Tony pretends it's all right. Do you believe that Tony at any point thinks this is all right, or does the song later on?
No, I think part of Tony does want her off his payroll. He doesn't want to have to deal with her anymore. He's never going to go date her again. Like, that's definitely not happening. So,
do you? There's a couple questions here. Like, is he really okay with this? And it seems like he is. Does he become not okay with it because the Gloria situation is still fresh, so he gets emotional later? It seemed like he was going to Irina's house to sleep with her and found him there. Was he going there to beat him with the belt? It's very interesting where this goes, but it connects back to this song. This is the song he hears at the end of the episode.
And that's what caused him to go over to the house. Yeah. I believe he's drunk at that point too, right?
Yes. But he's somewhat calm, if I remember correctly. We'll get to it. But yeah, Carmela knows where all the money comes. I think Carmela likes to pretend she
knows it all comes from crimes. She doesn't know that he killed, like,
Jackie Jr., Pussy, Tony B.
Yeah, Tony B, even Richie.
I think she suspects all of that, dude. I do. I think Carmela's smarter than you're giving her credit for. I don't think she's that. If she is, I think she's blissfully ignorant. And we're gonna yada yada some of these scenes that's going on right now. We're basically seeing the process. This is one of those episodes that you don't get so much in later Soprano episodes. This is one of the last ones like this, if I remember correctly, where you see a scheme and you see it sort of play out throughout the episode to kind of show you how it all works. And here we go. See, Adriana's such... I feel so bad for Adriana. She's not smart. Who's dumber, Adriana or AJ?
Adriana. AJ's not an idiot as much as he's sheltered.
Would AJ rap? Would AJ do this if he was in a similar position? Or would he go to his father?
He doesn't have a drug problem.
I think AJ would go to his father, personally. I think he knows enough. He's seen enough movies. He would go to his father. He'd be like, I'm no Fredo.
Sorry, I'm trying to sync this up.
Oh, that's good. Carmela is no dumb. The belt beating scene is Tony getting back his personal sense of power. I agree with that. I think it's also him being overwhelmed with emotion. He doesn't necessarily like to feel emotion, and he's feeling too much in that moment because of everything with Gloria. I think, in a sense, it has more to do with Gloria than it does with Irina.
It does, but part of it is also a
this might be a horrible line coming up here. And obviously, Tony Soprano is a, fucked up character in a lot of ways. But a line in The Sopranos two lines that I use more than anything in my everyday life talking to certain people. Craig and I often call each other sisters cunt, or we'll scream like we'll record a take on a song or something, and we'll go sisters cunt. We say it as sort of like a celebratory thing. And,
Yeah, why not?
And what was it? Was it you fuck your mother with that mouth or something? Oh, you say.
No, yeah. You suck your father's dick with that mouth? It's like,
Yeah, and I swear, there was a point in time where that was said a lot at a poker table. So yeah, Tony Soprano has some amazing one-liners. Jackie C says, when Tony tells her stuff like they won't be seeing that lady anymore, she knows what happened to that lady. Yeah, Matt, do you really think that Carmela doesn't know that people are murdered in this thing of ours?
I don't think she thinks he's capable of killing like pussy.
I disagree. I think... So you think Carmela thinks pussy really is in the witness protection program?
I don't think she thinks Tony killed him.
But you thinks that maybe she thinks he could have given an order, but he wouldn't actually be a person that would fire the gun.
Yeah, New York could have killed him.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with you there, but I guess I can see that. What I will say, though, is I could buy that Carmela is the type of person that would delude herself into thinking that.
Sure.
But I think at core, she knows it. She knows what happens.
What for? For an investment. What have I been saying? I don't know.
And AJ has his, oh, that's a crack whore line here in a second. So this episode is a little bit more, slow than the previous episode. But it is important, and I think this is the kind of thing that you don't get as much in television shows now. This is a filler episode, but it's not. It's still kind of an interesting look at examining a scam and seeing all sides of a scam from all the different levels, down to what they do with the house and making sure they get all the copper wire out of it, and completely degrade all of that. You get the whole side story mixed in with the congressman and his best friend trying to be difference makers and being destroyed by the system. There's a lot of agenda pushed within this episode, and then you have the whole fallacy of the feds and her being married and this and all of this. It's not my favorite episode of The Sopranos, but it's still a good one. I would say I do enjoy the first one more than this one.
Yeah.
Adriana Sanz as a mob wife. She might not know the details of it, but she knows enough. And I mean, they constantly go back and forth with that too, with what we think that Carmela might know. In season 1, it seems like she might know more, and as time goes on, I think he keeps
Part of it is she didn't want to know more because she keeps getting told by the priest, by that therapist that she went to, that by her living off of it, she's condoning it.
And she is. They're right.
So if she can think to herself that the money's not as filthy as it is.
In fairness, Matt, the priest isn't really telling her that. The priest is telling her, change Tony.
Right, she has, yeah.
Bring
right.
Tony to Jesus, because you can't get a divorce.
Right.
I like Sansa's quiet power energy. I was going to talk about some Game of Thrones at some point. Looks like I read a story. I don't know if it's true, but George R. R. Martin wanted to sue somebody that wanted to finish Winds of Winter with ChatGPT.
So why does he go here right now? I haven't seen this in over a week, so I forget the first
So
time.
right here...
he goes over to say you got to get the... And it's assemblyman, not congressman.
Yeah, he's got that. You got to
he
get the.
goes over to be like, you got to get these people out of
Yeah,
here.
you gotta
And
get
it's
the-
all over $7,000, which is what's crazy. That part of this is like doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are they doing all of this over $7,000, which is going to get split like 6 ways?
I think because he just wants to put a hair across this guy's ass at this point.
It's in the neighborhood. So what's up? Can I get you something? Scotch, right?
Tony.
They were talking about this in the Talking Sopranos too, and I'll agree. Can you have one drink during the day and then stop drinking? I'll be asleep. I can't have that. I mean, that's.
Oh no, I would too.
I can't just have one. Like I could, and I won't get drunk, and I'll enjoy it. Like sipping some a vodka tonic or something. But I'll be asleep 2 hours later if I don't keep drinking.
No, I agree with you. But we're also not used to it.
Yeah. I guess if I would Don Draper that thing my whole
Phil,
life.
I'll be honest with you this though. There's something else that you do that if I did in the middle of the day, I would be asleep in 10 minutes too though.
To me, it depends what I'm doing when I'm doing that thing. If I actually have something to do and I'm going out, I can keep up. But if not at this point, I'll be in the same situation. You can't go out and do stuff?
No, I can be out and do it, but not do it and then certainly not in the same way that I could when I was younger.
Yeah, you were always, that wasn't always your main
It was always a, what's the word?
Lightweight.
I was kind of like the, I was a lightweight. I was kind of like the Artie Bucco of doing all of that.
That's a good way of saying it. Okay, so she goes to the priest, as Jackie sees, so he tells her what she wants to hear. Here, Sonic says, Sansa only cares about one thing, and it's lemon cakes, lemon trees, anything lemon. Luna says, Carmela knows all about the life. The priest tells Carmela to focus on Tony's good parts and ignore the rest. She uses this to rationalize her life with him. Well said, and I think that's 100% true. So,
Right, that's what the priest says, is focus on the good parts and ignore the rest.
So Zellman is pushing here a little bit. He is trying to kind of act like him and Tony have more of a relationship than they do, and Tony just flexes his strength and tells him to do the thing. And
this is all it's a common theme that happens everywhere where someone, they may think they're very close with Tony, and we see it happen with Hesh at the end, where he goes, at what point is it easier for him to just
cut ties and fuck it up, say fuck off,
and just make me disappear? Like, at what point is it easier for me to just disappear?
So this is a tough scene. Adriana, who is
this is the meanest thing anyone says to anyone else in this entire show.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. And she looks so cute right here. You feel so bad for her. You feel, and the way she sort of is being earnestly asking him to marry her and protect, and the way she keeps saying, Matt, like for all these criminal mastermind people, and I'm saying that in some form of sarcasm, she says a lot in these couple of days.
Yeah. Right, a real lot, and it just shows how she may actually be the dumbest one in the entire show.
By getting married, I can't testify against you.
Yeah.
Like the minute someone said that, I'd be like, why? Why do you care about that?
Yeah. Why did that come up all of a sudden?
Yeah. Why are you thinking about that? Can we follow up on that? Can we follow up on the fact that you keep bringing up the goddamn feds?
Right. Why do you keep bringing this up? Why do you keep telling everyone that we're going to get married so that I can't testify?
Thank you, Luna. We very much appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Inglewood Rose. Beer leads to more beer. Quoted by a girl in a pool in 1994. Very true, Inglewood. Lucy, good girl. Both of them?
Chris, that's the line right there. Both of them?
He's hilarious. And he's playing this like he's slow playing this as he snaps on her. Oof. Dude.
That's the meanest thing anyone's ever said in the show. It's so fucked up.
Like, that's worse than sitting on her dog, though. That's fucking.
How you don't recover from that. That's the thing.
No, and what's fucked up is she doesn't sort of flinch on that because she believes it. So he's just sort of feeding into the bullshit that she has in her mind, unfortunately. That's why it's the most horrible thing in the fucking world. Because what he should have done is he does it eventually, but what he should have done is just hugged her and been like, "Of course I want to marry you. I don't care," you know. But like,
Actually, it leads to a very funny conversation now when they're talking about
this
right here. This is a great scene.
yeah. And remember, Matt, when watching this
And,
is
and Paulie brings up a great point. He's like, this thing of ours and that doesn't really mix and getting married. And he's not wrong.
yeah, but like if you look at who the single guys in that room right there are, and you know, do you want to be Polly or fucking or Ralphie?
This is nothing about age or anybody else. Stay single as long as you can. Oh, come on. What are you saying? No offense.
But yeah, I agree. In this, essentially, Matt, if I was going to be in this thing of ours, if I had an opportunity, which I wouldn't because I'm only half Italian, but if I could somehow be in this thing, I would never have a partner. You couldn't. I agree. I think it would totally. It would mess
It
your.
makes your life more difficult. There's no like.
Yeah, I understand why Jedis are not supposed to have partners.
So Paulie's a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. I think that's
So is Uncle June. So is Uncle June. Uncle June may be Yoda then.
Yeah, the Darth or baby Yoda grown up. He's Grogu. but yes, I think we're on to something here tonight with this Jedi thing. Who's in the car? I forget what's going on here. Oh, it's Christopher.
Too.
It's fucking
Naughty McGee over there.
It's fucking drugged. It's Midnight Cowboy here. Getting ready to go.
Drugstore cowboy.
Yeah, drugstore cowboy. Yeah, thank you for knowing what I meant.
I did. Or it could be Midnight Cowboy too. But
No. I meant drugstore cowboy. I was gonna say Requiem for a Dream, but it's shifted to drugstore cowboy. But I said Midnight Cowboy for some reason because I'm early onset dementia. We're getting to that age, Matt. So Christopher, junking it up in the car, decides to drive like a fucking moron. Jedis are gangsters that should never have fucking partners because then you turn into Darth Vader. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we also spoil Star Wars in here, although Star Wars kind of spoiled itself. Let's be real.
Yeah, fucking horrible. Okay, so this is an interesting scene between these two characters that never really come back and never have more, but they do have a lot to do in this particular episode. If you're just watching this episode and this is your first Sopranos episode, you would think that these two guys are going to be main characters on the show. They have a lot to do tonight.
Yeah, it's weird that Tony's willing to just...
And
I think one of the reasons that Tony's okay beating him the way that he does is Tony still technically has him in his pocket because Tony has enough on him.
Oh yeah, he can't do shit about that.
So instead of being friends with him, he's just going to make him his bitch and it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't actually lose anything because he can still make him do whatever he wants.
No, and the part of it too is I don't know if Tony was thinking this the whole time. If he doesn't do anything about that, Zellman's his bitch. Or right. I mean the other way around. He's Zellman's bitch. He's using him as a money sieve, not really sinking too much out of it. His attention, he has this guy doing the dirty work. He's just collecting money.
He's fucking his ex-girlfriend.
He's fucking his ex-girlfriend. It's a big fucked up situation. And this is one of the few times on The Sopranos that we get the reference that I've heard the most in my life when referring to this thing of ours. Matt and I have said this thing of ours a lot, and the mafia, whatever you want to say. But growing up, wait, here we go. That's what I heard the most when I was a kid. In my circles, these people. You don't mess around with these people. These people. Oh, don't talk about these people. That's another one that I've definitely heard the expression, and I'm glad that they put it in The Sopranos because it's something that got used a lot, at least around this area, when describing people that were connected. These people. We don't want to talk about these people. You don't want to know about that. That got used a lot, Matt, when referring to this thing of ours in this area.
Did you get the flowers I sent?
This is great.
It's such a Tony line. How can you still be mad at me? Didn't you get the flowers
I sent? That could be the
What are you reaming me out for? I sent flowers.
Matt. That could be the caption of my life: saying the wrong thing, pissing people off, and apologizing in some ways, and go. But didn't you get my apology letter?
Yeah, seriously, didn't you get that?
Didn't you get
I
that?
sent you the chocolates.
Didn't you get my bada dada length email apology that I meant to send you?
Oh my God, dude, don't bring that up right now.
Are you getting psychosomatic remembrance of a bee blah.
No, I foolishly checked that person's Facebook today, which I shouldn't have.
Don't do that.
I stopped following years ago, but I needed to see their reaction in light of what's happening in Israel, and it was, let's just say, it was exactly what I would expect it to be.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's keep this about this thing of ours. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to mention him. Do Germans call their father Vada? If you know German Darth Vader, it's a spoiler. Vader is father in German. Interesting. Cute. The look.
Look, he's gonna turn this to her.
Yeah, because he can never make it about him.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's such a great line, though. That stupid bitch almost sent my daughter to Barcelona. It's the best line. That stupid bitch. Nice little A-Team reference.
I did not know that. I'm sorry. I want to marry you. It's okay that you're damaged goods. Isn't that what he says? He says some shit.
But look at how, like, she was looking as good as she looks when he was in there before. She had her hair all down, and now she just looks like...
Yeah.
Now she looks like damaged goods, let's be real.
Now she looks like she's got something wrong with her poop. No. I did not know that. Poor Adriana, though, is her eventual decline this season? Or is it the beginning of next season?
The thing is, it must be this season because she was leaving to go be on another show. That's why she left. They wouldn't have done it in the middle of the season.
I gotta look it up.
So they wrote her off, not because they didn't like her. She was a fantastic character. They wrote her off so she could go be on Sons of Anarchy, I believe. They wouldn't have written her off over 2 seasons. They wouldn't have done that. So it's got to be this season.
Joe just texted me, and I'm trying to understand the bad spelling. Grab a bad and take them all. Oh.
You turn your volume down?
Yes, because I wanted to see what episode. It's next season. Season 5, episode 12. She goes. So we have another season.
Really? So we have a whole season of her still?
We have another full season of her, basically.
Huh.
Season and a half, essentially. So Carmela becomes wedding planner here.
It's a sacrament. Like, Artie can cater it. She can give a couple of those.
Oh, I know what he was saying. Sorry.
Put your sound back on, Phil. Phil, you're completely muted now.
I know. I went because I was sending Joe a speech to text.
Oh, yeah. For all of you that don't know this, in Phil's real life, he always does speech to text, and it is always trash when you have to read
it. It's horrible. It is horrible.
It's brutal.
And everyone, we're going to be ending here pretty soon after this episode airs. And if you haven't, make sure when you're done here, you pop over to my good buddy Teflon TV, who's talking about the Changeling. I wish I could join him. I'll definitely pop in the live chat and say hi over
The
there.
Changeling, is that a show that's not 20 years old? Is that what that is?
It's actually a new show. He's talking about
Huh.
he's talking about a new show right now.
Where like the main characters aren't dead or like on OnlyFans now because they can't.
Who's on
Do
OnlyFans?
anything else.
Vito?
No, Adriana just released she has an OnlyFans now. That's how she's making money.
Dre make that goddamn money.
Yeah, she has an OnlyFans. She's crazy though. She's a huge conspiracy theorist in the, wears a MAGA hat and things like that. But now she has an OnlyFans. As of like within the last 6 months, she started an OnlyFans.
Interesting. I did not know that. There you go, Sonic, your boy. So this is obviously a fucked up scene here. Sopranos, you don't often see full-on action scenes like this. And when they shoot them well. And this is an intense scene that I felt... they were saying this in the Talking Sopranos, and I feel the same way. Every time I watch the scene, they do a special... Steve Buscemi didn't direct this episode, but whoever directed this episode might have been someone like Ben Patton or something. I'd have to look. But... the way they focus on the kid in this scene makes me always kind of feel like something bad might happen to the kid. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like I keep worrying. Obviously, nothing does. This guy just gets shot in the dick. But I got shot in the dick. Dick. I got shot in the dick.
I also love what comes up here because I love scenes where you get to see old school construction Vito.
Yeah. Pre-lost the weight Vito is the best. And I also like this doctor's in a lot of this show. I feel like he's in 3 or 4 appearances where he really... What's the episode where he takes the bullet out of Furio? It's out of Furio's ass. Yeah,
he takes it out of Furio, and he's also the one where Hesh has him steal the cars at his daughter's wedding or his friend's wedding. Not Hesh. Robert Loggia.
Yeah. Yep.
Has him steal the cars from his wedding. Who the hell is Robert Loggia's name?
Feach Lamana.
Feach Lamana. Thank you.
You're welcome. We would be good in a game of Password. I feel like somewhere I have a skill with trivia that could earn me money on a game show. I just need to find the right one.
Oh no, I'm great at trivia. I just couldn't remember Feach Lamana's name.
Yeah,
that's what me and.
But what trivia contest show could we all go on and make a ton of money? Because I feel like with all of our gained knowledge, we would do excellent in a big trivia competition.
See, part of him is like impressed by Tony here too. Like he thinks Tony's...
but he doesn't realize that he's essentially made a deal with the devil here.
Right. Although Brian technically hasn't. He's not culpable for any of this. Like he can't.
No,
he's not legally.
But essentially,
he does say that line about like, what about the taxpayers though?
And I guess the age-old thing, don't make a mafia, don't owe this guy. Tony owed him, which is why I gave him the gift. He doesn't owe Tony anything at this point. Okay, so this is Carmela getting her. I've been in this position, Matt. At this point in the romance situation, in the middle of it, when you're pursuing somebody that's in a situation that I don't recommend it, you shouldn't do it. But when you are in the situation like this, somewhere in the middle, you do have your doubts. You're like, is she just playing with me? Is this real? I can't do this anymore. And that's what Furio's doing right here. He's reached a point where he's like, yeah, this isn't actually happening. What the fuck am I doing?
Did he already have the line with her about the pictures? He did. Right?
Yeah.
He said that
earlier in this episode.
We talked over it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Early in this episode. And She's got a hair across her ass about this right now. She sees the drill. She immediately knows that this means that Tony has officially corrupted Brian, and Brian is now
He's been
Team
down in the
Tony.
basement.
Yeah, he's been down in the basement talking. He is now one of Tony's lackeys. And even the deal that he signed, possibly Tony corrupted it to a certain extent. And here we go with Rat Face McGee, Chunky Cheese, Polly Walnuts, ratting up a storm to Johnny Sack about the deal that Tony and Ralphie are going. Johnny Sack even tries to talk him out of it and says Freelandheisen. No, not Freelandheisen. They got a new thing that Ralphie's talking about, that he's in with Tony, making a ton of skazool. Polly. What is wrong with Polly Walnuts here?
And he tries to give him an out here too.
And I don't think
when do I complain? That's the funniest line in the whole thing. When do I complain? Like, dude, that's literally all you do, Paulie.
Matt, the problem I have with this whole storyline with the two of them is I don't know where the fuck it comes from. They don't do a good... Again, this is something that flies here, but if The Sopranos existed now, I would have needed some sort of backstory about why they have history enough to have this kind of relationship. Or did Johnny Sack target Paulie, knowing that Paulie was a flabbergast, and decide to be like, you know what, Paulie, I respect you. You're in Tony's crew forever. I've heard about you for years.
Yeah, but he knows he knows he can get this from Paulie.
Right, but how did he know he could do that? I want to know.
He's known Tony forever. He's known these guys forever and ever and ever.
So at what point? I agree with you, but this is what it makes me ask these questions. At what point did he first get to Paulie? Is this a new thing? Has he always had Paulie? If this show was made now, we would probably get more backstory on why Paulie and Johnny have this kind of relationship. Instead, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and we would also probably actually know the actual family tree of the family, which we have no idea who is where and who is what.
Yes.
Like, we know that somewhere Paulie has a crew. We don't know who's where. We don't, like, who the hell does Benny work for? I have no idea.
Benny,
he's in there.
Benny, I believe, works for Christopher. Because
works for Paulie.
No, this is what Christopher has his own crew at this point. I think Christopher runs Benny. I only say that because when Benny Fazio, criminal mastermind, kicks Artie's ass, he goes back to, he says to Christopher, if you were around, that wouldn't have happened because you would have been in charge of your crew.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Benny is one of Chris's boys.
Here's before and way before.
So here he is getting the $7,000 of pipe that after clearing out this place. And this is Tony sticking to him as well as this guy's. Like, I don't even get why this guy stopped here right here, just to be like, are you going to have my money yet? And another brick in the wall of being sort of too pushy around a guy like Tony.
And I forgot these awkward scenes of
Are you gonna
him?
Yeah, are you gonna? God bless us, Tiny Tim. That's the Tiny Tim moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we talked about this earlier in an episode that's called something about television. It makes sure that all the information that goes back and forth is all about TV. Adriana thinks that she can have an out with the testifying against her husband because of television, and her sister or her friend, whoever this person is like, no, I saw in A Murder, She Wrote, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then she goes to like a 1-800 Saul Goodman kind of lawyer who just talks around it. And that's just one of those bullshit things that got put through the Hollywood sort of thing, and people believed because they saw enough in movies.
They've heard it a million times over the years.
Benny shoots guys that were supposed to kill Carmine for Christopher. Yeah, exactly. I think Benny is definitely on Christopher's team. This is a good little performance by this guy right here. But
My God, it's a simple question. Can they make me testify or not?
Short answer? Probably.
yes, of course they can.
Rico, the feds will spend a fortune putting on their case.
But they wouldn't have you testify. You don't know anything, Adriana. That's the thing. Like, they don't really have anything on you.
No, but she doesn't know that.
And, yeah, because she's an idiot. And $60,000, Matt. Is it worth the risk of doing something like this for $60,000?
Losing your career, if you're the assemblyman, they both probably have enough money. No.
Me, $60,000, I'd live off $60,000 for the rest of my fucking life. I'd make it work, Matt.
Yeah, but you wouldn't lose like your family and everything else if you got caught with it.
I mean, I don't have a family, so.
This is kind of my point. That's not my point, but like, you know, this guy, he has a nice house, that guy there, and he's
Would
respecting
you
the community.
stop being my friend if I got caught in a scheme like that and went to jail?
No, not with like that. That's just like.
Would you answer my phone call from prison calling you once a year?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, see? Then,
I don't want you going behind my back to Johnny Sack.
yeah, I wouldn't do that. I was going to say one of our friends named Johnny, but we don't really have a mutual friend named Johnny, except for the one that was referred to earlier, Johnny DiMaggio there. But neither one of us are close to him, so it wouldn't make sense.
No, neither one of us talked to him. You probably do more than me.
I probably talked to him more recently, but I haven't, but not in 15 years or so. Interesting scene by two good actors, especially this guy right here. He's not the congressman. He just adds a lot of pathos to the scene, and you see the multi-layered. You later see these guys in the Bing to just symbolize that they're continuing to do this scam over and over again. This just becomes part of it, like the stockbroker stuff, like the trap. Yeah. It just becomes one of the Sopranos family scams. As Adriana, this is a weird scene because I'm not sure what exactly it's supposed to mean that Adriana is in too far here and she knows how fucked she is. Matt.
No, and part of it is in reality, she probably would want this big, crazy wedding that she could spend years and years and years planning. But she is way too stressed about the current situation. It's like, I just need this to happen.
100%. But the more important question out of this, Bosco got mentioned in this. People don't know what Bosco is used to make chocolate milk. Matt, if you were back in the day when you were a kid and if you drank chocolate milk, which I assume you did, were you a Hershey syrup, Quick, Bosco, something I haven't mentioned yet? How would you achieve your chocolate milk as a kid?
When I was younger,
yeah, what was your chocolate milk go-to?
The Hershey's, like
the can.
Yeah, the can, the powdered can when I was younger, and then like probably Ness's Quick when I got older.
Yeah,
but I haven't had chocolate milk in a million years.
When I was really, really young, I was Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo was I was big on.
That sounds about right for you.
Yoo-hoo. Then the Hershey's syrup, and then eventually Quick. But I haven't had.
What was the malted one? I had that at my grandmother's.
I believe that's Bosco, right? So,
jeez, now I'm gonna waste my time looking this up. Yeah, go ahead.
So wait, hold it for later. So Tony hears the song again, and he starts feeling feelings. And we were talking about this a little bit. Is he thinking about? Who's he thinking about right now? He's not thinking about Arena. He's thinking about Gloria, right?
It is also George's password, most famously George's password. The Englewood Rose, if you're a big Sopranos fan and Seinfeld fan, there's a Facebook group called the Sopranos. That it's all it is. You can only post memes if they somehow are Sopranos and Seinfeld related. So for me, it's like literally my favorite thing because those are things I'm in. Oh, Ovaltine. Ovaltine is the malted
Ovaltine, yes, Ovaltine. And yes, Bosco is the password.
Also, that's also a Seinfeld reference. Is a Kenny Bania makes Ovaltine. Why don't they call it Roundtine? But we're not going down a Seinfeld.
Shut up, Banyan. So Tony goes upstairs here. They were talking about this in the Talking Sopranos. Is this Is this his house or is this her house? Did he go there to see her and just happen to find him there?
No, it's his house because when he walks in the first time,
Oh yeah, there's all of the
all the suits. And when he walks in the first time, it's her heels that sort of throw him off. And then this is just like the most degrading thing he can do to him. The thing to
he whips
and he lets Arena know I'm the alpha. I'm beating the shit out of him. He lets him know you're my bitch.
So people in the chat, we know we have a handful of people. What was your go-to chocolate milk creation when you had the chocolate milk? Jackie says, "Oh my God, Ovaltine! Oh Jesus! Cry, you bitch!"
It is a chocolate drink. Yeah, feels weird like that.
I am very weird. Yahoo is not a real chocolate. It's a chocolate drink. Yeah, and Pringles aren't chips. They're crisps. I know. They're potato-like substances.
No, and like Kraft singles aren't cheese.
No, that's definitely not cheese.
I'm not arguing. All of these things are true, Phil.
But that's my favorite grilled cheese, is that not cheese. But yeah, when I was a kid, I would say the most thing, whole milk and those cans of Hershey's chocolate milk. And that is the
and
end.
Sometimes if you didn't stir it up enough and you got like a mouthful of that and it was still like the powder in the middle of it, it was...
Yeah, I didn't mix the Yahoo when I used to go to Florida to visit my grandmother. She would get the cans of Yahoo every time I visited. And
first of all, both of you are saying it wrong. It's Yoo-hoo, not Yahoo.
Yahoo. Whatever.
You fucking Yahoos is what you both are.
It's true. So Matt, we are doing really well. We're not going to say the exact date, but we'll be back in about 2 weeks. But to look back on these couple of episodes, the next 2 episodes that we're about to look to are 2 big episodes. I believe they're one of the 2 is a last call for Ralphie.
Yeah, but that's a big...
But if you're watching, and what's interesting about this show is if you're watching these 2 episodes, they're almost standalone, the ones we watch right now. You'd have no clue that Ralphie was 2 episodes away from dying.
Right.
And I like Milo, but it's not chocolate. I recently, for the first time in a long time, got a chocolate shake from Sonic, and it was like the most delicious thing I'd gotten in a long, long time. And yeah, I'm a Sonic slut now, I guess.
My little sister just turned 30. I don't know what it was. 30 something, 34, 35. Yeah, I know that fucking hurts.
How old is your next oldest brother? I'm just curious. I don't even know how old he is.
He's a year older than her. So he was born in 1988. So whatever that makes him. 35. So she's 34. He's 35. That's not too bad. Anyway, she was telling me how she was really hungover after her birthday. She just drank chocolate milk all morning, and I was like, "That's disgusting." I haven't had chocolate. I don't drink milk. That's why.
Dude, I haven't drinking chocolate milk in a long time. I used to do things like make a grilled cheese and eat chocolate milk with the grilled cheese, or have a bagel and Swiss cheese with like butter and margarine on it, and like eat that with and the whole milk, chocolate milk with bacon and stuff. I can't believe the stuff I used to eat. Anyways, Matt, I know time is an issue for tonight, so we're going to wrap things up here. But
yeah, and if people sat through 2 episodes with us just running our mouths about...
Yeah,
so everyone has had enough.
But we'll be back in, I think, around 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, to do the next 2 episodes. Our goal is to get through season 4 by the end of the year, and fingers crossed, it looks like we might. Inglewood, Mind is a Wonderland, Jackie C. Great to see all of you guys. Thank you so much for checking this out, and everyone that checked this out throughout the evening. And I will be in the live chat over in Teflon TV. So if you pop over to Teflon TV, make sure you tell them Phil the Issues guy sent you. And cream cheese on bagels. I know a lot of people like the cream cheese on bagels, Matt, but what I am with a bagel is bagel toasted, then butter, then Swiss cheese on the bagel with the butter toasted. I'm not a big cream cheese fan.
Yeah, well, Phil, let's be honest. Anyone who's known you for any amount of time, certainly someone who's known you for, oh God, it's coming up on 40
years. You and me have known. Honestly, Matt, other than Nick, I've said this before, I've known you the longest. But some of our other mutual friends, I've known them.
But people that you're still, but like you're not as
right. If I see Justin or Scott or Chris, I'm gonna give him a hug, or John or other John, I'm gonna give them a hug. I have good vibes with all those dudes. No bad vibes at all with any of those guys. I love them. They're awesome. But I'm actually friends with you, and I'm so out of all the people I went to elementary school, you're my closest friend still.
Oh, from elementary, I guess. Yeah, that would. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about elementary school. Yeah.
But you came in at 3rd grade, so I know a couple.
Fifth grade.
So I know a couple of the people that we're mutual friendly with, that you're closer with than I am, a little bit longer. Like, I feel like the person I've known the longest is probably Scott. I feel like I've known Scott
or Mark or Mark.
Or
I'm
Mark.
Still close with Mark.
Yeah, Mark. I've known
really close with Mark.
I've known Mark and Scott since early JCC, like since I was like 2 or 3 years old, put next to, even longer and Nick I've known since I was 3 days old. But some of those guys that we went to elementary school with, I've known a little longer than you. But as much as I love Mark and I love Justin and I love all those dudes, I don't talk to them like I talk to you. So you're, and I've known you since 5th grade. So you're probably second most of my friends that I've known. Joe, I met when I was like 17 or 18. So that's much, much later. Elia, when I was 15 or 16, I started to become friends with Elia.
Yeah.
And Devin when I was 14 or 15. So you are probably the second longest to Nick that I've known.
Yeah, and Phil and I had a run of probably like 4 or 5 years where we never talked to each other. Probably most of high school.
No, but you more had a problem with Nick than me.
No, I didn't have a problem with you. I was busy.
I was physically.
We don't need to go down this right now.
No, we do.
The point of this is
I physically saw you get into a fist fight with Nick in the computer lab with Nick and Palmer.
But Nick and I were friends in like elementary school. I mean, middle school, which was weird. He taught me how to smoke cigarettes. Anyways, the whole point of this though is that you have the weirdest eating habits of anyone I've known for my entire life.
100%.
So anything you say about like what you're into with food, I just ignore. Like I don't even hear it.
Yeah,
because I know it's like you have a unlimited of about 6 different foods that you eat.
Yeah, one of my favorite delicacies is eating chocolate chip cookies or Oreos in bagels.
Delicacies, he says, by the way, and then follows that up with Oreos, just so everyone knows.
Bagels and Swiss cheese, like cheese and chocolate, like taking a bite of one, a bite of another, and mixing the flavors together. They are fucking delicious. Okay.
Yeah, we made an album called that, named after you.
Yeah, we did.
And my friend, Ween, the band
Chocolate
Ween
and Cheese.
has an album
Yeah, Chocolate and Cheese.
And my friends, the poker guys, still talk about the night you created Total and Cheese.
Total and Cheese is fucking delicious. It was Jack 7. It was Total and Cheese. If you ever need a fucking memory of that motherfucker. So everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for checking this out. Matt and I will be back in a couple of weeks, and I'll be back next week for some sort of nonsense. Hopefully I'll have Tony or Joe on with me, but if not, you'll have to deal with my crazy ass. Matt, Celtics trade, thumbs up or thumbs down? Are you feeling good about the Celtics this season?
I don't see how they don't win a championship. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, good news. Got to mix those Wendy's Frosties with the fucking fries and the Frosties at Wendy's is a must. Does anyone remember? Let's play member berries here for a second. Speaking of Wendy's, what I remember most about Wendy's and I truly miss, and my favorite fast food experiences, when Wendy's had a super salad bar, like an endless go-to salad bar that had like pasta, and you could make like at a taco station too. And
the pasta was like rock hard at certain times, but it was still delicious.
It was
somehow.
still delicious.
And that garlic bread that was just made out of Wendy's rolls.
Yeah, the garlic bread on the Wendy's rolled bun things was fucking unbelievable, Matt. And if people don't remember,
it was like literally, it was flat. It was like the size of like a slice of like a piece of paper, and it was just like soaked with so much butter. It was so good though.
It was unbelievably delicious, Matt. Okay, talk to you next time, buddy. Love you.